What are we doing? We're gonna clean this up in here. Yeah.
Attention. Report your overtime to your manager, and you will be handed into lottery, Nazi, and Pandemic merchandise.
I'm over here! Got another foodstuff delivery for Dogan. Rare herbs from Cascadia Prime. They must not be crushed before use, or all their potency will be lost. Understood? Off you go.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Dogan trusts a delivery this kind to a simple runner girl like her, but I'll never question him openly about it. I prefer to keep my fingers, thank you very much. Anyway, his special dinner will be a blast, as always. Those poor souls have no idea what he'll be feeding them. The herbs are strong enough to cause an instant addiction. They'll be in his pocket forever. I guess we're adding another couple of family members to Dogan's ever-growing list of helpful friends. Dogan needed those herbs for a very special dish. He won't be happy about this.
Here. So Dogan needs this delivered covertly. Can't let Kruger see it or the whole thing is a bust. Dogan needs this delivered over, okay? Can't let Kruger see it or the whole thing is a bust.
I would thereby demonstrate that not even the families are beyond our reach. None of you are. Blackwood never aspired to overthrow the conglomerate and to restore power.
Greetings.
No. Yes. I'll do wait, not wait. You just want to go around. Nothing more crazy. start again. Like, phase 2. Okay, cousin. Like,
Spotlight's 50th birthday sale, save 30 to 50% off all Manchester. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
This video is made possible by OnlineASDLearning.com. One of the services they provide is academic coaching for ASD students over Skype. During sessions, students will have the opportunity to work on developing their study skills, developing organizational skills, and managing academic responsibilities. Hi, I'm Brittany, and this video is for one of our patrons, Regina Winter from Russia. She requested that we talk about Ian's education and the therapies he receives. So in the United States of America, we mostly have public education, which is funded by the taxpayers, and that's available to everyone, and that's what our kids are in currently. There's also private education, which is privately funded and is optional. And an example of that would be like Spectrum Academy, which is in Pleasant Grove, Utah, and that deals with the autism spectrum, like specifically children with autism. And it's kind of nice that they have those options. I don't know if we'd put our kids in any kind of challenger school or accelerated programs, just because I feel like our schools are a great fit. I have no complaints about our school district, but I know that's not the case everywhere else. So that's what our kids do. They're each in a different school, which is really fun to drop off and pick them up. And so far, they're each doing well. Ian had all of the therapies at one point, everything that was possible. He had occupational therapy, fine and gross motor skills, he had speech, he had physical therapy for a long while. And this last year, he's gone down to 2, which is great. He now just has speech therapy and occupational therapy. So speech therapy is all about enunciating words correctly, pronouncing words correctly, using them in the right context. Ian used to exchange he and she, for example. He'd say, Mom, he's over there, and, that's wrong. Or he'd lisp, he'd lisp his words a little bit and slur his vowels. He still does that a little bit. And so he's in speech therapy to help him pronounce words correctly and not stumble over them, because sometimes he just runs through words really fast when he's trying to get out what he's thinking. And OT, or occupational therapy, is kind of like life therapy. It helps children with disabilities interact and experience normal social settings, and in a normal fashion. It helps them learn what's normal, what's socially accepted. For example, waiting in line at school, or pausing in a conversation to listen to what the other person has to say. These things are occupational therapy, and it's kind of a broad field, but for Ian, we want to talk about the social aspect of it because that's what he struggles with. So one therapy Ian used to take is adapted physical education, or APE, and that's stuff like exercise and motor skills, how to throw a ball or stand on one foot. It may seem silly to us because we take such physical activities for granted, but many individuals with autism on the spectrum have difficulty with coordination and hand-eye movements. I mean, I'm really klutzy, my kids are really klutzy, so maybe there's something to that. But yeah, up until last year, Ian had APE. So Ian has an IEP, which is an individual education program, and most students that have special needs usually have an IEP in our country, and it's great. It's an individual program that is tailor-made for each student, depending on their needs and their goals. And so twice a year, Ian, his teacher, the principal, and all of the therapists will gather around a table at school, and we'll talk about how Ian's doing and what he needs to work on. And every year we set new goals, twice a year. And usually he exceeds his goals, or, does really well on them, and so we can set a new one. But sometimes he struggles. Like, for instance, Ian has had a hard time concentrating in class. And one of the goals that he has is to listen and perform a task within 10 minutes of being asked to do so. That's a goal, for example, that we would have in his IEP. So Ian's in elementary school right now, but when he goes into junior high in 7th grade, a few things will change. He'll still be in a special needs education program, but he'll have peer tutors, which are children his age who are volunteering to spend time to help him, and that'll be great. That'll be a change that's something I look forward to personally, to getting him interacting with more peers who are neurotypical, and it'll be something that can help him improve socially, I think. And once Ian goes into high school, he can go to high school until he's 18, but after that, he'll probably go to something called ATEC, which is Alpine Transition Education Center, and that will cover his secondary education up until age 21. And it's geared mostly towards him becoming ready for adult life, getting a job, learning how to manage finance, cleaning, cooking, and schooling, of course. But it's specifically for special needs students who are preparing for their own individual lives, their own independence.
Lady?
Hello, we're the school. This is my school. This is the fountain learning. How you learn about the fountain is you have to learn how to drink it. You use these handles or this handle, and then put your mouth. And remember, if you put your nose in it and you use your and you breathe it in your nose too much, you may drown.
Oh, I see.
At air. That's a fountain of learning.
All right, let's go to your class. Do you ever use a computer?
Well, I don't, because sometimes it's jammed. Instead, I just use iPads and Alexia. And I don't know what this is for. That's just ridiculous.
And that's a heater?
And that's a,
What else, Ian? Show me your stuff.
that's a microwave.
Show me your cool stuff.
There's a computer placer where she parks up a computer. This computer's hers. And she has the posters of body and the posters of planets. I don't know why it's that. That's ridiculous.
That's the human body?
Yeah. And that's the bone side, this is the muscle side. Just bone at the muscles. You can't, I know you can't see them.
Wow.
There's the biceps. The biceps are right here. That's my biceps.
Biceps.
Those are my biceps.
Those are the zones?
Yes. And I get tired like this. And I get bored like this. And I'm outside this.
It's a common thing.
Like that. And the green zone is I'm ready to learn. And I feel happy like this. And I'm calm.
Okay.
And the other zone is like this. And the red zone is like. And
So
yellow.
what zone are you in most?
Well, I'm in green.
You're in green right now?
Yeah. Do you know what makes me fierce and angry?
What?
Like say I'm in a car dealership, and what happens is bullies wreck my supercars. It makes me mad and angry and terrified and yelling, yelling.
Too many people parenting your parenting? Your baby deserves less. 2 ingredients and nothing more. Water wipes. Purely protects.
What less? Do you want to keep the mic out? Yeah. You going into Mummy's bed? No. Soon? Yeah. A bit later.
Conquistador, for which they would extract labor and tributes. This system was the foundational institution for which the conquistadors ruled and exploited the native populations.
You're hungry? Yeah. Well, dude, you're just gonna have to wait a minute. In a minute. I beg your pardon? You just fart in my fuss? You just fart in my fuss?
Kung Fu Panda has been one of DreamWorks Animation's most successful franchises, with 3 movies released so far. The first movie came out in 2008 and grossed over $630 million worldwide, making it the 3rd highest grossing animated film of that year. The sequel, Kung Fu Panda 2, did even better. earning over $665 million at the box office. And the third movie, Kung Fu Panda 3, continued the trend with over $521 million in ticket sales. Clearly, audiences can't get enough of Po the Panda and his kung fu adventures. So, it's no surprise that DreamWorks has announced a fourth installment in the franchise, which is set to hit theaters on March 8th, 2024. In this video, we'll be discussing what Kung Fu Panda 4 will be about, based on the latest news and rumors. Let's get started.
The power is mine.
Cast and crew. Kung Fu Panda 4 will once again feature an all-star cast of voice actors, led by Jack Black as Po, the Dragon Warrior. Black has been with the franchise since the beginning, and has become synonymous with the character, bringing his trademark humor and energy to the role. Other returning cast members include Dustin Hoffman as Master Shifu, the wise and stern Kung Fu master, and Angelina Jolie as Tigress, the fierce and loyal member of the Furious Five. But Kung Fu Panda 4 will also introduce some new characters, including a new villain named the Chameleon, who will be voiced by Gary Oldman. Oldman is a veteran actor with a long list of impressive credits, including roles in The Dark Knight, Harry Potter, and Bram Stoker's Dracula. It will be interesting to see what kind of performance he brings to this new character. The movie will be directed by Jennifer Yu Nelson, who has been with the franchise since Kung Fu Panda 2. Nelson is an accomplished animator and director, with credits on films such as Madagascar and Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. She's also the first woman to solely direct a major Hollywood animated feature. And her work on Kung Fu Panda 2 earned her a nomination for Best Animated Feature at the Academy Awards. With such a talented cast and crew behind it, Kung Fu Panda 4 is sure to be a visually stunning and entertaining film. But what will the story be about? Let's find out in the next section.
It's the Dragon Master! Skadoosh!
Plot summary. So, what can we expect from Kung Fu Panda 4? Well, Po will be back, of course, and this time he's leaving the Valley of Peace to go to the big city. There, he'll face his most dangerous enemy yet, a new villain named the Chameleon. What makes the Chameleon so threatening is his ability to summon enemies from Po's past, including one of Master Shifu's previous students, and a crane that wanted to get rid of pandas once and for all. This means that Po will not only have to face the Chameleon himself, but also confront some of his past mistakes and enemies. But that's not all that's going on in Kung Fu Panda 4. Po will also be looking for a replacement as the Dragon Warrior, as he knows that he can't hold the title forever. This search for a worthy fighter will be one of the movie's major themes, and will likely bring some humor and heart to the story. It seems like Kung Fu Panda 4 will continue the franchise's tradition of mixing thrilling action with heartfelt themes and humor. With Po facing his toughest challenge yet and searching for a successor, there should be plenty of excitement and emotion to keep fans engaged from start to finish. Production details. Kung Fu Panda 4 was officially announced back in 2018, and fans have been eagerly waiting for any updates ever since. Filming began in 2019, with Jennifer Yu Nelson returning to direct after helming the second and third installments. Interestingly, Kung Fu Panda 4 was originally supposed to come out in 2020, but it was delayed multiple times due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, now we have an official release date of March 8th, 2024. So far, we don't know too many behind-the-scenes details about Kung Fu Panda 4, but we do know that Jack Black will be returning to voice Po, along with other fan favorites like Dustin Hoffman as Master Shifu and Angelina Jolie as Tigress. We'll also be seeing some new additions to the cast, including the Chameleon's voice actor, whose identity hasn't been revealed yet. It's always exciting to see a beloved franchise return for another installment, and Kung Fu Panda 4 looks like it's shaping up to be another epic adventure for Po and his friends. We can't wait to see what other details emerge as the release date draws closer. Marketing and release DreamWorks. Animation has already begun marketing Kung Fu Panda 4, with the movie slated to hit theaters on March 8th, 2024. Although we're still a year away from the release date, fans have already been treated to a teaser trailer that gives us a glimpse of what's to come. The trailer introduces the Chameleon, the new most successful and beloved franchises, with audiences around the world eagerly anticipating the release of each new installment. The upcoming fourth movie, set to release on March 8th, 2024, promises to continue the trend of thrilling action, heartfelt themes, and humor that fans have come to love. With an all-star voice cast, a talented director, and a new villain voiced by Gary Oldman, Kung Fu Panda 4 is sure to be a visually stunning and entertaining film. We can't wait to see what Poe and his friends get up to next. Kung Fu Panda has been one of DreamWorks Animation's most successful franchises, with 3 movies released so far.
At Origin, we know sport brings out the passionate part of all of us, and we think this passion can do amazing things.
There probably aren't a lot of things that can scare a cold-blooded, egomaniacal Russian dictator like Putin, but there are some. COVID-19, for instance. The guy's terrified of it and makes his staff take PCR tests several times a day, every day. Then there's assassins, independent media, democratic elections, and democracy in general. The probability of being overthrown by his own people, and Finland. Wait, what? Finland? Yep. The happiest country in the world, with around 75% forest surface and the world's biggest archipelago, absolutely terrifies the current head of the Russian Federation. Here's why. Imagine for a moment you're a Russian resident in the port city of St. Petersburg, north of Moscow on the Baltic Sea. It's the year 2023, and you turn on the television to discover that once neutral Finland, your neighbor to the north, is now a part of the NATO alliance. It's a shocking blow, if only because you know exactly what it means for you and your family. Putin has been fuming about Western imperial expansion for months now. And as things have gotten worse in Ukraine, you fear it's only a matter of time before you or someone you know is conscripted and sent to the front lines as cannon fodder. The way the propagandists have been talking about Finland's defection to the West and Russia's Baltic access being restricted by NATO nations, you worry that Ukraine is just the start of a decade of war that will inevitably end on your doorstep. Finland is, after all, less than 125 miles from St. Petersburg, well within range of Western long-range guided missiles now being deployed over the border. You get goosebumps as a chill runs down your spine. The future, as long as Putin is in power, looks very dark indeed. It is a fitting twist of fate that the man who set out to reduce Ukraine to a puppet state and create a greater buffer between Russia and NATO has now induced long-neutral Scandinavian countries to apply, and in Finland's case, join the NATO alliance, and adding insult to injury, double its physical border with Europe. During the Cold War, neutral Finland had to be in line with Russia, fearful of reprisal and repression. It will do so no longer. Now bolstered by its Western allies, Finland offers undeniable physical, material, and technological benefits to NATO, and that should scare Putin. If the invasion of Ukraine tells us one thing about Putin, it's that he cannot conscience the prospect of ex-Soviet satellites drifting into Western orbit. Back in 2014, when the war in Ukraine really started, Ukraine was already on this path. A presidential coup had deposed its leader, and quickly Ukraine's very constitution was amended to include a clause saying that the country would immediately strive to meet qualifications for eventual NATO membership. There's a reason for Putin's paranoia. Russia hasn't exactly been on the happy side of history for much of its past. European invaders have picked Russia apart, or tried to at least, at various times, from Napoleon's aborted invasion in 1812 to grueling battles with Germany in both world wars. Putin's heroes, the post-1945 leaders he so desperately seeks to emulate, laid down a strict national security policy during the Cold War that eventually became Soviet doctrine. Rather than sit idly while countries on its frontiers flirted with Western influence, Russia would incorporate them into its own ideological bloc, spanning Eastern Europe. The buffer it created with the Warsaw Pact is still cited by Putin and his propagandists as necessary for Russian independence. Without it, Russia allegedly becomes susceptible to Western invasion, and if you can't see the irony there, you won't see it anywhere. The geography of the Russian frontier plays an important role in this strategic outlook, and is thus relevant to our discussion today. Eastern Europe offers far fewer natural defensive barriers than elsewhere, like, say, the mountainous borders between Austria and Italy. As industrialization transformed the face of war in the 20th century, Russia had to reckon with the advent of modern, mechanized forces and armor. In World War II, German advances over the Eurasian steppes covered dozens, even hundreds of miles a day, stemmed only at a massive cost to Soviet manpower pools. Russia has benefited from Finnish neutrality since 1945 for many reasons, but paramount among them is the idea that it simply did not have to worry about the hostilities spilling out across its massive border in a hypothetical confrontation with NATO. That until today would most likely be confined to a small sliver of Baltic territory. No longer. When Finland officially joined NATO in 2023, Russia's border with the alliance effectively doubled. It now has 830 miles of difficult-to-patrol tundra, swamps, forests and flatlands to worry about. Putin's defensive calculus was altered overnight. He may pretend Finland's accession doesn't bother him, but it does.
That there was Harry's chair.
One arvo, Harry left and never came back.
Disappeared. Turns out.
As Putin told the Finnish Prime Minister in 2022, when we look across the border now, we see a Finn on the other side. If Finland joins NATO, we will see an enemy. Strategically, Russia simply lacks the troops to handle this frontier, since they've deployed most of their available forces in Ukraine. It's a bear of a problem to deal with, one that simultaneously shrinks Putin's sphere of influence and makes his imperial ambition even harder to achieve. NATO 1, Russia 0. The Kremlin's time-tested tactic to place the onus of aggression on its enemies is one it will continue using, portraying NATO enlargement as the cause of its actions, not the consequence. These rhetorical gymnastics are predictable enough. Now that Finland has joined NATO, democratically, we should note, something the Kremlin will not, Putin can use it as the cornerstone of his hateful crusade in Ukraine, a symptom of broader Western challenges to Russian interests everywhere. Putin has sworn that there will be consequences from Finnish and Swedish membership. That threat just doesn't cause the same alarm bells to ring today as it might have when it was issued, but NATO will still take it seriously. Just because Russia may lack the military means to make Finland pay, doesn't mean it will stop talking about it anytime soon. The same goes for Finland. These two countries have a past, and let's just say they could never really play nice. You see, there is real enmity between both countries, one that is historically rooted in shared 20th century experiences. Russo-Finnish animosity originated in Finland's membership as part of the Russian Empire until its independence in 1917, when the Tsarist government collapsed. Throughout the 1920s, Finland tried to retain its neutrality, backing out of a last-minute defense alliance with Poland, Latvia and Lithuania at the last minute. In 1932, the Soviets tried to quell Finnish fears by signing their own non-aggression pact. Little did Finland know the Soviets would dole out non-aggression pacts like hotcakes in the coming conflict, treating bilateral promises as loose suggestions rather than binding rules. During World War II, tensions between the Soviet Union and Finland exploded once more when the Soviets signaled their expansionist aims by signing yet another non-aggression pact, this time with Nazi Germany in August 1939. This was the one that stunned the world, starting a global war that would consume the globe. As a result, the sovereign state of Poland ceased to exist, and Soviet leaders set their sights on the next target, the Karelian Isthmus and the border of Finland, just west of Leningrad, modern-day St. Petersburg. It didn't take much by way of negotiation for the Soviets to launch an armoured blitz over the Finnish border on November 30th, 1939, kickstarting the Russo-Finnish War, or Winter War. The Finnish response to an invasion of 1 million men is the stuff of legend, one whose indomitable courage and resilience have been likened to Ukrainian resolve in its existential crisis against Russia today. As winter set on the Finnish frontier, plucky Finnish ski troops offered stout resistance, inflicting massive casualties on the bogged-down Red Army. Ultimately, though the Finns, lacking any Western assistance whatsoever from Britain and France, proved unable to stop the Soviets from reaching Vyborg in 1940. The invasion taught Soviet leaders it could neither conquer nor govern a territory that size with the forces at hand. The Winter War resulted in Finnish territorial losses, but the Finns avoided a worse fate. It would take a Machiavellian alliance with Germany to push the Soviets out in 1941. and an armistice in 1944 to forever seal Finland's rancor towards its aggressive neighbor. Finland's strict policy of neutrality had held since 1945, changed overnight with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Today, Finland has simply had enough. Its armed forces stand ready to take up arms with their NATO counterparts to deter any future Russian threat, recognizing, as we all should, that over the long term, Russia will reconstitute its forces to adapt its force posture to NATO's new Scandinavian presence from the Baltic to the Arctic. Some are calling Finland's NATO membership the biggest development in European security since the remilitarization of Germany in 1955, when Germany came into NATO as a remilitarized state after the Second World War. This begs the question of why. What does Finland offer NATO in terms of immediate military capacity that other states might not? The first is proximity. NATO is now within touching distance of the strategically important Kola Peninsula in Russia's far north, and its second largest city, St. Petersburg, on the Baltic Sea coast. The Kola Peninsula, in case you don't know, has been described by the Center for Strategic and International Studies as the crux of Russia's military establishment in the Western Arctic, whose air and maritime capabilities are essential to Russia's homeland defense, Arctic dominance, and global power. Its Severomorsk 1 airbase, Gazievo
J'adore. Dior.
Hello, everyone. You have played your last con game, but not your last game.
Out of all the men to cheat, you picked John Kramer?
submarine base and Okolnaya submarine support base on the peninsula provide Russia with operational readiness in the Arctic, where it can deploy SLBM, ICBM, and electronic warfare assets to defend its positions at a moment's notice. Russia's aggression thus far has resulted in a greater concentration of NATO forces on its Baltic border, a trend it can expect to see continue further north if it continues behaving badly in the geopolitical realm. Starting in 2017, NATO deployed 4 multinational battle groups to the region, one in Estonia, one in Latvia, one in Lithuania, and one in Poland. Each contains about a battalion's worth of forces, just over 1,000 soldiers, together with their equipment, tanks, tactical armored vehicles, a headquarters company, logistics infrastructure, and everything else they would need to fight. NATO cycles new forces through each battle group on a rotational basis. After the 2022 invasion, NATO members agreed to deploy 4 additional battle groups to the states adjoining Ukraine, a safeguard in case the conflict spilled over into NATO territory. Collectively, the establishment of these 4 units constituted NATO's biggest regional reinforcement in over a generation. Fortunately, it has not, yet. But as of today, NATO has deployed multinational battle groups to Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria, extending its defensive front with Russia from the Black Sea to the Baltic. Finland's membership takes NATO's forward presence all the way north to the Arctic Sea. NATO's multinational battle groups are combined arms formations, meaning they employ infantry, armor, artillery, and air power in tandem to achieve their objectives. These unique units are extremely mobile, adaptable, and flexible, trained for an array of threats and combat scenarios. The headquarters for each battle group is integrated, meaning each nation is represented at the command post. Together, they bring unique capabilities to the table in order to bolster collective defense. According to one NATO official, these flexible units are mutually supporting and, most importantly,
He's over the moon.
I'm excited.
He's waited so long for that.
Oh, it's roundabout exercise.
Boys, stop. Now that's the result I want to see.
I've been working on this project for...
Look how smooth this paper flows.
Hey guys, we're going to go ahead and get right into the video. We're going to show some clips of the kids first and how they've been dealing with the whole quarantine stay-at-home thing, and then we'll have a discussion shortly after. Thanks.
Of course, I was trying to work on my essay!
Okay. And then we'll have a discussion shortly after. Thanks.
Of course, I was trying to work on my essay!
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Set your old homework down to the side, the table. Lay it out so you can see it. There you go. And the only problem that your teacher had was the text was too big. So you can copy it here with a smaller pencil because the marker was too big. Hey. It's just the marker. It's okay. Right here.
It's the maker's fault who made a marker.
No, it's just there's a right tool for a job. And the right tool. Nice big one.
I just have to work even more than I ever expected I have to.
Was it giving you more work?
Yeah. I'm feeling like I'm being too mean to the paper. This one.
It's okay. Don't worry about the paper. That's small potatoes. That's not a big deal. So we're more concerned about like how you're responding to the computer program. You know, your ninja game, your math game. That's time-based, and that kind of stresses you out because you don't like to be put on a timer. And I understand that. I don't like to be put on a timer either. Is there...
Hey, you. Give me some food. Sit down and make your sandwich. Oh, things are out the way.
Welcome back to Box Recaps. I'm going to explain the movie World of Us, released in the year 2016. The movie begins with a group of elementary school children playing paper scissors inside a game. One by one, every girl gets picked, except a girl named Sun, who is a social outcast in school. Sun has tried to make friends many times, but her class seem to be interested in being friends with her. Things seem to change when one day Sun returns a lost birthday card of a girl named Cora, and their latter invites Sun to her birthday party. Because of this, Sun becomes hopeful of making friends. At home, she lives with her parents and younger brother. Sun's father is an alcoholic, so her mother takes care of her and her younger brother. Sun's father always promises to take the family to the beach on vacation, but he never fulfills his promise. The next day, Sun meets a girl named Sun Jia after school. Sun Jia introduces herself and reveals that she's a newly transferred student. Afterwards, Sun leaves for Cora's birthday party. However, when Sun gets to her apartment, she's rudely turned away by Cora's snobby friends. Upset, Sun wanders around the town by herself. Jia notices her at the bridge and approaches her. The two get to talking, and Sun gives her a tour of the city. When Sun tells her that she grew up in the city, Jia wonders if Sun has a lot of friends. Sun doesn't respond and shows Jia a bracelet she made by herself. Jia is amazed by Sun's skills, and Sun tells her to keep the bracelet. After returning home, Sun excitedly tells her mother about her new friend. She also passes her father's message to her. It is revealed that her dad is busy at the factory and has to work overnight. The next day, Jia takes Sun to her grandma's house, which is considerably larger than Sun's house. Jia self-deprecates the house, but Sun compliments the property. Sun asks her about her mother, and Jia reveals that her mother works in England. Afterwards, the two girls venture out and play in the garden. There, Jia also reveals her ambitions of becoming a simultaneous interpreter. Unlike other translators, she wants to help people speak by translating two parties' speech simultaneously. Sun reveals that she hasn't decided what she wants to become just yet, and Jia advises her to become
that thank you.
Trampoline park. Sun is a little apprehensive about it, as she doesn't have funds to pay for the expensive tickets, but Jia offers to pay for her tickets, and the two girls have a lot of fun for 1 whole hour. Later, after her mother returns home from work, Sun asks her if Jia can live with them for a while, so that the latter doesn't have to go to a church retreat with her grandmother. Isn't so exciting. Someone else's daughter. Sun eventually convinces her to let Jia stay over, and Sun welcomes her into her. Sun's brother Yu instantly likes Jia and becomes close to her. When her parents are away, Sun cooks fried rice for her friend, and her brother explains the recipe to her. The two girls then go to a nearby store to buy some stationery. Sun checks out some pencil color, but she doesn't buy it because she doesn't have money to pay for it. The store owner acts rude to them for touching everything, and Jia changes her mind about buying a notebook from the store. Outside, Jia reveals that she stole a pencil color. Should have signed. Sun tries to decline, but Jia forces her to keep it, saying the store owner deserves it for being so mean. Jia then gets a call from her mother, who reveals that she is scared and canceled her visit. It turns out Jia hasn't seen her mother in a long time, and it upsets her. To cheer her up, Sun dyes her nails with a flower from her garden. Before bed, Jia parents, or 7 years old. She initially lived with her mother, but later her father got custody, and she moved into her grandmother's house. She reveals that her grandmother hates her mother. Sun also reveals that her dad too hates it when she talks about her grandfather. Upon learning that Jia's mother take her to a scene, someday. The next day, Sun asks her mother to make cucumber rice rolls for her friend. Sun's mother is initially
Where is it going?
Okay. Jia watches Sun laughing and cuddling with her mother from another room and starts missing her own mother even more. Gia's behavior also suddenly changes, and she starts complaining about how hot Sun's home is. She also refuses to eat the rice rolls Sun's mother makes for her, saying she's not hungry, but goes on to eat packaged cheese balls. Over the course of the next few days, Gia joins English tuition classes. She asks Sun to join her, offering to pay her fees, but Sun declines, saying she can't take money from her. Instead, Gia snatches her phone back from Sun and tells her off, always playing games on her phone and reading her. She also tells Sun to buy her own cell phone. The girls stop speaking to each other for a while until they run into each other in the market and make up. Sun gets busy talking to her friend, but soon realizes that she left her little brother at a store. Sun and Gia team up and start looking for the boy. Gia eventually finds Yoon with her tuition friend, Bora. Sun is happy to reunite with her brother, but is upset that Gia's friend, Bora, who humiliated her at her birthday. Later, Sun goes to meet her ailing grandfather with her family in the hospital. Like always, Sun's father refuses to meet the ailing old man despite the latter asking to see him. Outside the hospital, Sun asks her mother to buy her a cell phone, but Sun's mother turns her down, as they already have a very tight budget. The school opens again after the summer break. Sun's teacher introduces Gia to the class. Sun happily waves at her friend, but she doesn't wave back at her. Gia waves at Bora and her friends instead. Sun doesn't think much of it and offers Gia the empty seat right next to her. Later, Sun overhears Bora and her friends talking to Gia on his birthday. After discussion, the girls mutually agree to buy Gia an expensive gift. Sun sits with the girls, but they suddenly get up and leave. After school, Sun steals money from her mother to buy an expensive gift for her friend. Goes to her to surprise. Gia hates to accept the gift, but Sun forces her to take it, saying it's expensive. Sun then invites her to the trampoline park, offering to pay for her, but Gia declines, saying she has a lot of work from tuition. Sun almost proceeds to leave when Bora and her friends appear from inside Gia's home. It turns out the girls are having Gia's birthday party without Sun. When Sun returns home, she gets scolded by her mother to provide the gift, goes to bed upset. The next day, she overhears Gia backbiting about her with Bora and the other girls. They later approach her and ask her to return the pencil color Gia gave her. Sun reluctantly obliges, and the girls call her poor for losing 2 pencils from the set. They also comment that Sun stinks. Later that day, Gia's grandmother drops by Sun's mother's reception with Gia class and church service. Gia's grandmother advises Sun to enroll in tuition classes, while Sun's mother offers to pack tomorrow's school lunch for Gia.
Test Uncle Jerry. What are you doing? I see her at photo. What are you doing? It's not called food, alright? Fuck me dead.
It should make it. Get started for free.
Daniel!
After a while, Gia's father and his new young girlfriend arrived, and her grandmother.
Nothing else. Now sit down. Come on.
Gia feels a little under the weather, so she sits by herself on a bench. Sun gives her company and offers her lunch. The 2 former friends seem to be getting along well until Sun asks Gia about her stepmother. Gia gets upset, but throwing Sun's lunch on the ground. Back at home,